What's up everyone? Welcome to episode 4 of Project No Secrets, our R33 GT-R. Now you've seen the backstory, you've seen us attack the exterior of the car, then pull apart the interior of the car, and now it's time to pull apart and check out the engine bay of our R33 GT-R. I'm sure it's probably just as terrible as the rest of it. Let's go. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's as bad as the rest of the car. All right, I'm gonna get this bonnet off first. The most important things I will need in this engine bay to disassemble is a 10mm spanner and ratchet that I'll lose somewhere. These to cut out 7,000 cable ties. This for any wiring that wants to be too difficult. And this for when I get really pissed off. Let's do it. This would have to be the dodgiest brake lines I've probably seen used on a track car. It's just done and secured very badly, so sorry. Out of the way, you. Be gone. There's the engine wiring harness. I was gonna say it's probably worth keeping some of the clips for the injectors, but some of them are missing anyway, so bin. One thing we might keep, although it used 3 different bolts of 3 different lengths to hold it in. Would you expect anything less? No, you wouldn't. I mean, it had a gaffer tape firewall, so did you expect anything other than just some heat shield over the holes? I mean, why would you want to seal the holes up to the firewall, especially behind the turbo? I mean, why would you want to use any type of metal fabrication or any type of panel when you can just put that over the top? Some people are going to say, why not salvage some of the stuff that's in here? But to be honest, you just can't trust any of it. So much of it's so old, so many non-sort of genuine bolts and bits and bobs used. The wiring loom is hacked up. There's oil through here everywhere. It's just not worth reusing any of this when you have to pretty much wire the car from scratch anyway. You might as well just completely start from scratch. I'll be doing all new bolts through the car everywhere anyway, because you want to make it all neat, consistent, and look good. So, yeah, it's all going to come out, all of it. Well, nearly all of it. One cool part in the car, an Pixie header tank. Basically, all the water lines come out of the engine and meet inside this, and this is the highest point. GT-Rs usually have a lot of problems where the radiator height is here, and the heads are about the same height. And if you go RB30, you can actually have a lot of problems with bleeding. So this Pixie header tank sits up in the corner. All these different water lines go to it to try and basically become that. That's why this has a radiator cap, because this becomes pressurized. As you can see though, it's pretty gross. So I won't be using it again just for that reason. Look, I'm sure this works, this brake reservoir, but it's on the ugliest bracket and mounting I've probably ever seen. Oh well. Cut the brakes out. That is the quality of their work. A panel that is not even square, not 90 degrees, no nutserts, didn't paint it black, didn't try and make it look pretty, just quickly smashed 3 of these on there. Bit of heat shield on one side that's just stick on. for some reason. But pulling that off does reveal, at least they are, Wilwood reservoirs. Now, I've got these inside the cabin in Jet 200, so it's neat and out of the engine bay and doesn't get hot in the engine bay and everything, but I can understand why you'd have it here. But, oh. Thinking about brake cleaners, it just destroys and cleans everything, so it's still pretty clean in there. They'll probably be able to be cleaned up, to be honest, and reused. Just maybe not the way they were. How the f did they even f***ing do that up? So the engine bay is pretty much totally stripped. The only thing left in there is all the power steering stuff because I'll clean all that up when I remove the subframe. There's a lot of dirt, grime and crap in here, so once I pull a few more things off under the car, we're going to get it outside and we're going to degrease it and clean it out properly. Probably the only real repair that's needed in the engine bay after we sort of, you know, sandblast or get rid of paint. The only repair is probably the intercooler pipe hole on this side's a bit rough, but I'll leave that until we've done all the dummy fab work at Hypertune and get all that sorted. Other than that, it's pretty much all factory holes, maybe one or two that aren't. So it's not too bad in here. It's certainly not as bad as some other areas. At least there's no actual damage. Some of the work and things they did in here was shocking, but there's no real sort of damage here. So we'll just clean it up, keep on moving forward. And this has been the moral of this build so far. Now, I wasn't going to touch the headlights on this car, but I couldn't help myself. They're an old set of R33 lights that looked, you know, like typical old GT-R headlights that haven't been looked after. I wanted to try a wives' tale. Crappy, try to compound, 2 seconds of trying with metal polish. Does it work? We're about to find out. You can actually hear it go from really rough to smooth. So rough. You can hear it actually smooth out. So that is 5 minutes. First go at it. No sandpaper, no compounds, no crazy procedural layers and all sorts of other crazy funky things you've seen on YouTube. 5 minutes with some autosol, and they're 1,000 times better, and there's still more improvement to come. But already, it's enough to get you feeling a bit more motivated, I reckon. So after taking out everything from the engine bay we didn't need, which was pretty much, well, everything, decided to give the car its first clean in probably 4 years. Mostly because every time I touch the car, I end up filthy dirty. And also cleaning a car, they say, helps you get a better bond with that car. And it's also just a good chance to have a really closer look over the whole thing. As you can see, it's come up a hell of a lot cleaner than what it was with a little bit of elbow grease for a few hours today. The best thing is now we pretty much know where we are with this car. I can assess the entire car and have a look at what needs to be repaired, what needs to be modified, and kind of get a plan for the car moving forward, what we're going to build and how I kind of want the thing to end up. To be honest, so far I didn't really have a final picture in my head of where I wanted to end up, but the more I work on the car, the more in the background I'm buying things and looking for parts, etc., and researching some stuff I want to research, I really have started formulating that plan. So in our next episode, we're going to start talking about that plan for the car. We're going to get the cage assessed to determine what we're going to do about that roll cage. I'm leaning towards cutting it out. And then we're going to start trying to get a dummy engine and box into the car so we can start the fabrication and get some modifying happening rather than pulling apart, which is what we're all waiting for. So, I'll see you then.